I made it for every skin tone. I made it for every skin tone.
I can't even see.
Hi Beech! Hello and welcome back to Kuckian's Courtroom, your source of beauty investigations all through the week. Why don't we get back to watching the release video? We're only 2 minutes in so far.
In this palette, but yet they're still neutral. So I made this palette to have fun with, but yet at the same time get your neutral look, and you can use it for every day. This is also an absolutely amazing palette if you are having a wedding, a prom, or a special event to get glam with. You can do a dark sultry eye, you can do a light soft peachy eye, you can do a sparkly gold glittery eye. I mean, the looks from this palette is endless.
I did think that was interesting that she just said you can do a dark sultry eye, because there was only really one shade in this palette that looked dark enough to build into anything dark. So I agree. I don't think every palette should have a black in, because it just goes against the theme, and I just don't think every palette should have a black in. But in terms of creating a dark sultry look, there's really only 1 or 2 shades I could imagine being semi-dark, or should I say semi-dark. The new palette, the deepest shade is Nakey Nakey. It does look like a really safe deep shade if you are of really light skin tone. I don't think you can go too wrong, because sometimes if you have very light skin and you're using very dark colours, if you go in a bit heavy, it can obviously be really messy and hard to fix. So that kind of makes sense. Again, that looks similar to the metallic shade Quirky in the old palette.
Of what I use for cats' pajamas. I named this palette Nudie Patootie because Nudie Patootie is literally a Laura Lee language. It is how I talk. I normally make up words for things that aren't real. Nudie Patootie, Awesome Blossom, Nudie Patootie. You'll see my makeup line. I am creating makeup that is not so much Laura Lee, but there are touches of Laura Lee all within the makeup. That's gonna be every product I come out with. It's just gonna have a touch of me in it. It has a nice big mirror in it, and I love the shape of the palette because it's just so nice and sturdy, but yet slender and sleek. It is amazing for travel, or if you just keep your makeup in your makeup bag. This is amazing for that.
She says that this is amazing in a makeup bag. My only issue is that it's quite a long palette, so I don't know how well it would fit in a makeup bag. I think you might need like a sports bag. I thought that was just interesting, but I'm just nitpicking here. Let's continue.
A puddle. It is stunning. We have a matte ombre nude palette with a clear gloss, like latex clear glaze with Nudie Patootie written really big, foiled of Laura Lee Los Angeles' logo on it. And then the inside of the palette is rose gold as well. You also see detailing on the brim of the palette. This LL is our new emblem. Every brand has an emblem. They also have a logo. An emblem and a logo are 2 different things. This is our logo. This is our emblem. So we have the emblem and the logo. If you open the palette, it is all rose gold.
My only issue is that I do think this emblem is really interesting. I've never seen it on any of her marketing. I've not ever seen it on a website. She's always just had a logo. So that's quite confusing. I also feel like the logo and the emblem don't really look like twins or sisters. Like, the emblem is really sleek, just 2 L's, which has probably been done 100 different times with different companies. It's not something that's majorly unique. But the Laura Lee Los Angeles logo is all this paint splattering and stuff like that. So it's just a little bit confusing how they don't really look like they're part of the same brand, because you would think it's either going to be sleek or it's going to be, you know, like paint splashing. It's difficult to have like one classy logo and one not classy logo. Kuckian, for example, has its main logo, which is like this, so you can see it's just the name. But then it also has this emblem here. And I've always used the emblem and the name on my packaging and on my products and on the website. So I did just think that was something to keep in mind. I think it's really classy that she's come out with something new, but I've not seen it before, so it's like new marketing. So there's no problem with that, but you can understand what I'm saying. Like, it's a bit inconsistent. Like, I kind of feel like when you're launching a brand, you should have your marketing set up already in terms of your logos and stuff like that. And I think to have to add something halfway through, I'm like, oh, I can learn to live with it. That was a double L. Do you see what I did there?
So we have the emblem and the logo. If you open the palette, it is all rose gold. Really beautiful. It makes the colors even pop more sitting against the rose gold. And it also has the LL right below the mirror. Just little fine details that I absolutely adore.
I do think it's interesting she's done that, because she was dragged for the last palette for the cat's pajamas, where the background of the palette was just flowers. So you really couldn't really tell what any of the colours were, because there was this bright fuchsia behind them. And it wasn't like a pretty flower design either. Like, it was like a copied and pasted set of roses. So I do think it's really interesting that she's taking the feedback on board, even if she's still posting videos throwing shade at me. She's obviously watched my videos and taken things into account. So I think it's nice that she's fixed things. I think we're helping Laura grow in a very strange and twisted way.
You know, I think they're just a must-have whenever it comes to makeup. I think it's such a sexy, chic palette. This palette's so mature.
Cause I'm super hot, boy.
But yet still fun with the name of it. But when you look at it, you're like, ooh, yes, mama, give it to me. That's hot, that's sexy. I love it.
One of the big criticisms of the Cat's Pajamas palette was that it was immature and childish, especially with the names of the actual shades that just didn't really make any sense whatsoever. So Nudie Patootie, a lot of people did say in the comments that it was an immature name, but Laura's definitely taken back the feedback on board from the first palette launch and has tried to make things a bit more mature. Now we are going to get into the shade names and have a peek at those, but this is just the design and how she's presenting the palette.
Approachable and playful though, I feel like with the name of it. And that was my goals with this palette. I made this palette for everyone. I made it for young people. I made it for more mature people. I made it for every skin tone.
I made it for every skin tone. I made it for every skin tone. I made it for every skin tone.
Is that a joke? Sometimes I feel like people just throw around the word inclusivity without even knowing what it means. Perfect for every skin tone. Every skin tone as light as yours maybe, or lighter. I don't understand. How can she say that? How can she say inclusive to every skin tone? 50 Shades of Flower. No thank you. Could you imagine one of my deep dark friends coming over to my house and they're like, oh, what are you going to use? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to use my kuckian shadows like normal. I'm going to be using this Nudie Patootie palette. And they're going to look at it and say, oh.
As I listened to so much feedback from you guys, for people that left really constructive criticism, not just criticism or not negativity.
Not just criticism or not negativity.
It was the people that truly left that constructive criticism, like, I'm so proud of you, I really like this palette, I would like to see this, this, and this. My eyes were open to you, my ears were open to you.
So Laura seems to be directly addressing our video that we posted. I don't know if she's referring to our video as being non-constructive criticism. Non-constructive criticism is calling someone ugly or calling someone fat or something like that. Constructive criticism is telling someone how they can improve. Our Cat's Pajamas 3-part series was 100% talking about everything that's gone wrong, such as spelling mistakes that shouldn't have been there. 10 pressed powder eyeshadow palette. Highly pigmented, 5 mattes, 4 shimmers, and 1 semi matte / satin. Okay, where should we even begin with this? Problems with the formula. She's obviously messed around with the formula and lied about the ingredients, which is illegal and dangerous. It's not really a game that you want to be playing. That's all I'm going to say. And furthermore, everything else we spoke about. So I think that we do come under the category of constructive criticism, regardless of how much shade she's throwing. I do think that, without a doubt, all of this talk about trying to make the palette more mature whilst keeping it childish, I do think that we definitely deserve credit. And I think every member of Kuckian's Courtroom, every member of Titty Fam here right now, deserves a cut of the paycheck that Laura makes from this palette, I think, because we are all partly responsible for the major improvements that Laura has made to her brand.
All of that in, and we try to take as much criticism and as much advice from you guys as we possibly can. We are listening to you, and we put that into Nudie Patootie, and I really feel like you guys will see that. Anybody who left negative comments or try to tear me down, I'm a young female woman trying to be an entrepreneur and create a business for herself.
I'm really sorry to throw this out there, but I don't like how the first thing that she turns to is the fact that she's a young female woman. Being a female doesn't mean that you are less likely to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean that you are weaker. It doesn't mean that it's shocking for you to do something impressive. I think that women are just as driven as men to start companies. And I know a lot of women that own companies and brands and stuff like that. So I don't think that we should have this approach where it's like, well, I'm a woman, so you can criticize me, but ultimately I'm doing really good.
See that? Anybody who left negative comments or try to tear me down, I'm a young female woman.
And it's like, no, you're a human being. And I just don't like having this platform where women are seen as being less than men. And it's like, well, I'm a woman doing a really good job of things. It's like, no, you're a human doing a good job of things. And I think when your first response to criticism is to bring up the fact you have a vagina, I just think it's the weakest possible argument. As a brand owner, you should stand on your own 2 feet and not on your genitalia.
And we weren't listening to any of that. You have negativity in the world, you have positivity in the world. You have a choice of which one you're going to listen to. I chose to listen to the positivity, and I truly think we came out on top.
So Laura, again, is just going into this whole rant about negativity and positivity and only listening to positivity and not listening to negativity.
And we weren't listening to any of that.
She describes any sort of criticism as negativity. Listen back to the video.
As I listened to so much feedback from you guys for people that left really constructive criticism, not just criticism or not negativity. It was the people that truly left that constructive criticism, like, I'm so proud of you, I really like this palette.
Oh, well, people that said, I love you palette, I love this, I love that, we listened to them. People that were negative, we didn't listen to them. So how can you say that you're growing as a brand when you sit there and say, well, we choose to listen to positivity?
You have negativity in the world, you have positivity in the world. You have a choice of which one you're going to listen to. I chose to listen to the positivity.
Basically, you only listen to people that kiss your ass then. You're not going to have accurate criticism. I just find it shocking. I just find it shocking. Like, I honestly thought from the outside that Laura had grown, and this is the first time for me watching this video because I wanted to give like a live breakdown. And I just feel like we grew as a brand and took criticism on board, but we didn't listen to the negativity.
That was just truly just waved out, and we weren't listening to any of that. You have negativity in the world, you have positivity in the world. You have a choice of which one you're going to listen to. I chose to listen to the positivity, and I truly think we came out on top.
I do think that the whole attitude and the whole approach that she's taking to this is we don't listen to negativity, we're here for the positivity, and I don't like how she makes it about a gender. When people critique on her eyeshadow palette, her initial response is, I'm a female. I don't understand. That shouldn't be your first response. The first response should be, I made this decision because. I manufactured it like this because. I made this spelling mistake because, you know? I don't think you can use your gender to try and justify things going wrong because that's so bad for every other woman out there. I just think it's so anti-feminism, and I think it degrades women to try and use gender as a reason for things going wrong. And I do think she's definitely improved in terms of the palette, but then in terms of behaviour, I haven't really seen an improvement, and to be honest, I don't think we're going to see an improvement. I do think that so far Laura Lee's definitely done a better job with the actual palette itself. I think she's brought in professionals. At the same time, I don't see a change in attitude, and we've only watched a few minutes of the video. This is something I'm excited to cover. We're just going to go through it slowly. This is not going to be a Drag Laura series whatsoever. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. It lets me know that you want me to do more series, more parts of it. If you didn't like the video, you can leave me a thumbs down. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you really soon. Bye.